Hey, friends. Whew. Well, it's been a day, couple days. I mentioned, I believe, in a post a few days ago that I had seen the osteopath who worked on my wrist, which sustained an injury a few months ago. And as always, as literally always happens, it's like clockwork now. He'll release something in my body, and then a circumstance in my life will manifest that puts me in touch with the emotional energy and the kind of psychological emotional blueprint of the event or the period of time, the circumstances that created the injury. Now, there's a lot there. I'm going to unpack it a little bit, but basically, I got this injury over the summer. I hurt my wrist playing tennis, wrenched it out of place, created some instability in there. I still feel it. It's still there. That injury is healing, but not healed. But I took it to an osteopath, and he started moving, trying to move the bones in my wrist, and he said, "Your wrist is completely locked up. The last time I saw a lunate bone like this was on a boxer, somebody who professionally hits stuff and jams the finger bones, carpal bones, up into the wrist bones, and just almost like fuses the bones together through repeated impact." And I was like, whoa, that's not what I do daily. I play the piano. I feel like my wrist shouldn't be that locked up. And yet it was. And he started moving things, and I started having flashbacks to like my teenage years, periods of time when I was in a lot of turmoil. I mean, as a lot of us are, but I had the additional sort of factor of having moved from Europe back to the United States, going through a massive culture shock, dealing with, kind of like just a total upheaval in my life. And as he started working on my wrist and getting, he'd work on my wrist and he'd do a whole treatment, a bunch of craniosacral stuff, and then he'd manipulate my wrist and a bone would move. And sometimes, like right there lying on the table, I'd have a flashback to like being 16 and like some event. The first one I got was quitting piano lessons. I remembered walking into my piano teacher's office and telling him that I didn't want to study piano anymore. And my teacher becoming this is a teacher that was a new teacher for me. I just started with him a couple months ago, and I was really having trouble resonating with him, didn't really like him, didn't know kind of how to approach music. His approach to music wasn't really resonating with me. But I was also not committed. I wasn't practicing. I wasn't doing my work. So I walk in, I tell him I'm going to quit, and he became this really just beautiful sounding board and empathetic listener, and gave me some advice on kind of narrowing things down in my life and pursuing a limited number of things that were really important to me instead of trying to do too much. And it was kind of lost on me. It wasn't lost in the sense that I still remember it and I still appreciate it. I say it was lost because I didn't exactly follow his advice. But anyway, that was one of the first memories that came back to me when my bones in my wrist started to move. Well, then a couple more of those happened. Most recently, just the other day, he moved a bone, and he was like, even like as he did it, he was like, "Oh!" He moved the bone, and I was like, I don't know if I can release this. This is like so frozen. I don't know if I can actually let go into this. But I did. I let it move, and he went, "Oh!" and like left the room and came back later and said, "That really made me feel really crappy. Like that just felt," he apparently like was empathically receiving some of what was locked up in me. Well, anyway, that event, that physical release, produced some events, some subsequent kind of like, I don't know what to call them. Let's just call them reflections. Let's call them reckoning with certain aspects of how my life is now that were already there. It's not that it's not like out of the blue, some random thing happened to me, but a door opened into a new way of seeing some of my current circumstances, seeing them more clearly, facing them more directly, and feeling their impact, feeling their psychological and emotional impact on me in a new way, in a way that is a little more just available to see what's really there. And oh my God, it's like, they talk about in therapy, they talk about regression in service of the ego, which basically means if you have a problem, if the ego, I don't mean the ego in like the negative sense of like the selfish, small-minded self that is creating negative effects on us. I'm not using the ego in the sense of the self-organizing principle, the ego as the limited identity that grows in time and space, that is not our ultimate identity, but that is a reflection of our kind of individual experience in the world. If that ego gets blocked, if there's an impingement, if there's if integrity is compromised at some point along the way, then a lot of times, it's kind of like if you have a building, if the first floor isn't stable, then if you build floors above the first floor, they're going to be unstable. They're going to be resting on instability. And the idea of regression in service of the ego means sometimes you'll be trying to like grow your consciousness, expand consciousness, elevate, move beyond. Let's say we're at level 5, right? We're on the 5th floor of our building. We're looking ahead. We want to build the 6th floor. Well, from the 5th floor, there's a certain view of what things look like and of what growth looks like. But if we have a problem at one of the more fundamental levels, Ken Wilber describes these, by the way, as progressing from fundamental to significant. The higher you go, the more significant. The lower you go, the more fundamental. Both of them are vital for different reasons. If we have a problem at a more fundamental level, we can't, it'll limit how far we can go, right? We might be able to see the 6th, 7th, 8th floor, but we can't get there. We can't build it because it's shaky. The things are shaky. But we might not even be able to stay at our level 5 perspective. We might have to regress, and not in a way that we go unconscious, but consciously go back to a place where, to the kind of level of consciousness where we sustained the injury, where we sustained the problem, where the problem got created, and deal with it there. That's what I feel like is happening to me involuntarily. I'm being regressed in service of my ego, because when something like this gets moved around, something releases in my body that I haven't really even known was there. My osteopath said, I don't usually force my way through tissue like that. But in the case of this, that part of your body almost didn't know that it existed. It was like that obstacle was so old, it didn't even know that it was a part of your body. There's no feeling there. So rather than just let that resistance remain in this kind of unconscious amorphous state, he decided to manipulate it, to release it, And thank God, I'm so grateful he did, because even though it kind of unleashed a bit of an event in my kind of psychological, emotional life, it also tells me that some of the restrictions, some of the limitations, some of the issues that I've been facing are not cosmically ordained truths. This is the way it is. This is always going to have this problem in your life. They're actually the result of an injury, of a psychological, emotional injury. In some ways, probably also a physical injury, which, they're all related, that I don't even really remember, but that I also haven't healed, and that I can't solve certain things in my life without also encountering the obstacles that are created in this, in this kind of karmic memory. Our physical body can, Sadhguru would say, well, it's in your karma. Your memory of life has these imprints in it. And if there's injury imprinted on the body, and you want to soar, you want to fly, you want to take off and fly, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to deal with that. So, big stuff. Big stuff. And I feel very blessed that I'm getting this opportunity to move through this stuff. And also, it's game time. It's like I can't, there's a lot going on. It's a lot of overlapping and kind of cascading experiences that are ultimately all about healing, but that may from moment to moment or day to day feel sort of like careening, like, whoa, I hope the car stays on the road. It's icy out. I'm trying to go left. I don't want to, look where you want to go. Look where you want to go. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. This is what healing looks like. I don't know how else to put it. At least this is my road. So I do appreciate the opportunity to share it. I appreciate that people watch these videos and, seem to be resonating sometimes with my experience. I'm sure that this is, my experience is it's a unique version of this, but it's a universal process. We all, the laws of physics, of psychological and emotional and spiritual growth are very much universal. So hopefully my experience can normalize and maybe facilitate your growth through a difficult challenge, or the release of unexpected shit into your system. It is actually healing, but it might not feel like that initially. If you don't know what healing looks like, it might not feel like, it's not going to be like spa day. It won't be like getting a great massage. That's not the vibe. So that's where I'm at. Thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate you. I appreciate those of you who've been commenting and telling and sort of like affirming for me that I'm reaching folks out there. It's wonderful to see that and hear that. And thank you. Thanks for tuning in. please subscribe to this channel. If you're somebody who's new and you randomly get this video and you're like, why on earth am I watching this guy talk about himself? And but something about this resonates with you, please subscribe to my channel and let me know. Let me know, because I will connect with you and I'll listen to whatever questions you have. Got a request to hear me play piano yesterday. That will come up very soon. I didn't do it today because for a variety of reasons, but that is coming soon. Anyway, thank you. I got to work on the ends of these videos. I end them way too long. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful day.